Nigerian police has assisted enormously by evacuating those that are seriously wounded to the general hospital in Bida.
Fuel tanker explosion Tuesday evening claims more than 35 lives in Niger State as FRSC laments reckless behavior of some Nigerians.
In President Bola Tinubu, you have an ally that you can believe and invest your trust in. He is quite passionate about girl-child education.
Vice President Kashim Shettima assures that girl-child education is a priority for President Bola Tinubu's administration. Senate passes bill to establish Nigerian Mines Ranger Service. National Human Rights Commission joins calls for abolition of death penalty in Nigeria. A fuel tanker explosion on Tuesday evening claimed more than 35 lives along Esa-Badigi Road between Bida and Badigi in Kacha local government area of Niger State, leaving survivors with various degrees of burns. Musa Bikai reports.
The explosion, according to eyewitness account, happened long after the initial accident as the number of people who trooped out to scoop fuel from the fallen tanker loaded with premium motor spirit, known as petrol. Most of the victims took advantage of the falling tanker to scoop the petroleum product, which later exploded, killing more than 40 people who were burnt beyond recognition, leaving others with various degrees of burns. The survivors are receiving treatment at nearby medical facility.
There's nothing I will say much about what happened today. It's a tragedy. This is my village, and my own time, and also all the people, all the victims, my brothers and sisters. So it's a tragedy. Really, today is a day in the South Village that I will never forget. As at now, on count, we have about 32 deaths and over 47 others who are injured. The Nigerian police has assisted enormously by evacuating those that are seriously wounded to the general hospital in Bida. About 2 vehicles are already loaded, men down to the place. So I'm also on the ground here to see to it that those who were burnt beyond recognition are also buried before we leave the place, so as not to constitute a health hazard.
It's the motor accident. What tanker that will burn into fire that make this thing happen. So most of our people, some are crossing, some they want to see it in life, to see what is going on, and by what fire is born. And the minute it burn, nobody knows how it's come about again.
At the time of filing this report, those burnt beyond recognition have been given mass burial. Musa Mikhail, NTA News.
And in confirming the deaths of the 35 persons in the inferno that occurred along the Bida-Lapai route after Badigi on Tuesday evening, Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Shehu Mohammed, described the incident as a needless national tragedy born out of ignorance, greed and disregard for safety warnings. He again stresses that Nigerians should put safety above all else in such incidents, as it's almost always inevitable that such tragedies would occur when people risk their lives for a few liters of free petrol. Nigerian's Governors Forum is saddened by the tanker explosion in Kacha local government area of Niger State, where more than 30 persons were killed. In a statement from the chairman, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, the forum sends its heartfelt condolences to the people and government of Niger State, especially the families of the victims and Governor Mohammed Umar Bago. The NGF commends all the emergency responders for their humanitarian assistance to the victims and stresses the need for greater attention to safety issues in every aspect of daily life, especially in how combustible items are stored and transported. Away from that, child education is at the center of President Bola Tinubu's administration, and no effort will be spared to actualize its goals in Nigeria. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the assurance during a meeting with a delegation from Plan International, led by its Director of Programs, Quality and Innovation, Helen Ididiong, to show the federal government's commitment to child education. Vice President Kashim Shettima invited a teenager, Joy Oga, to take over the seat of the Vice President for a day and address the nation. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
I would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak for millions of Nigerian girls.
Support for the girl child. Joy Oga takes over Nigeria's vice president's seat for a day. She is here with Plan International delegation, expressing gratitude for the opportunity to represent millions of Nigerian girls.
Nigeria cannot speak of progress if half of its population is left behind in silence. So today, I call on the government, the policymakers, development partners, and every citizen to act not with sympathy, but with strategy. We must invest in education that is safe, inclusive, and free from fear for every child in Nigeria, not just the girls I'm speaking about here.
Urging relevant authorities to enforce laws that protect the rights of every girl child, highlighting the need to provide free sanitary products in schools, as well as ensure access to water, sanitation, and nutrition for the Nigerian child.
The issue of the girl child is not an issue of political sloganeering, no. It's an existential threat to our nation.
Among other government intervention in the girl child education, the school feeding program remains essential.
Joy's beautiful rendition of her speech. It sounds like music to the ears of all of us, but a music of sadness. But hope springs eternal from the hearts of men and women. And I believe that in President Bola Tinubu, you have an ally that you can believe and invest your trust in. He is quite passionate about girl child education. His wife is a symbol of how, when properly empowered and positioned, a girl child can blossom into a great leader.
And Plan International has provided interventions for over 11 million Nigerian children in areas such as education, entrepreneurship, and youth development. The organization urged the government to continue ensuring that girls have access to education and schools remain affordable for all. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
And the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, has begun engagement with 12 pilot states across the country for the implementation of the Lumina 2030 initiative, a national program designed to educate and empower over 1 million girls and women by 2030. Lumina 2030, an acronym for Learning, Uniting, Modernizing, Innovating, Nurturing, Accelerating and Harmonizing, is federal government's bold response to the growing challenges of out-of-school girls, limited access to quality education, and the lack of economic opportunities for women in underserved communities. The initiative aims to create a pathway for inclusion through accelerated education and skills development, ensuring that no girl or woman is left behind.
That incorporating this program into the strategic framework as well as the basic education action planning will strengthen our ongoing efforts to not just reduce the number of out of school, but also ensure women, girls empowerment.
We want to see that the states themselves have plans for scale up, have dedicated budget line to ensure that in the near future, every community that do not have a school within the 2 kilometers or at most 3 kilometers, that there is a plan to have a school within that community. We want to see this at the state level.
I'm being told that ASU has suspended a 2-week warning strike, and it will take effect from midnight today. A National University Commission has approved the establishment of full-time mode of 4 programs for the Jibril Aminu College of Medical Sciences, Federal University of Kashiri. A statement by the University Chief Information Officer states that the programs are MBBS Medicine and Surgery, BSc Human Anatomy, BSc Human Physiology, and BSc Pharmacology. And the statement made reference to a letter of approval signed by the Director, Academic Planning, Abubakar Gere, on behalf of the Executive Secretary of NUC, which states that the program will take effect from the 2025-2026 academic session. And the letter also wants the university management to provide human material resources for the development and growth of the approved programs. Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the National Association of Nigerian Students have agreed to work together to resolve issues impeding development in Nigeria's education sector. This is when NAN's president, Olushola Oladoja, led executives of the association to the Labour House to pay a courtesy visit on the NLC president, Joseph Ajero. Key issues of discussion included disputes over honouring agreements with tertiary education unions, meeting the threshold of 26% of the national budget as recommended by UNESCO, and growing insecurity in hostels, especially armed robberies. They observed that technological development is contingent upon good education, and students are the greatest beneficiaries of good education. Vice President Kashim Shettima has commended entrepreneurs and innovators in Katsina State for their outstanding contributions to economic growth and development. He made this remark at the MSME Clinic Award Dinner and DICO Social Innovation Academic Graduation Ceremony, where outstanding entrepreneurs and businesses were recognized and celebrated. Details with Awal Haliru.
The event was a demonstration to the state's commitment to promoting innovation and enterprise, with checks and certificates presented to the awardees and the first set of 18 graduates who developed 9 innovation projects in health, climate, and agriculture of the DICO Social Innovation Academy. These individuals have showcased exceptional talent, creativity, and determination, and their achievements are expected to have a significant impact on the state's economy. Vice President Kashim Shettima emphasized the crucial role of the MSME sector in driving Nigeria's economic growth and development, saying effort must be made to support and empower entrepreneurs to drive innovation and job creation. The Vice President described Katsina as a beacon of creativity and resilience in northern Nigeria, noting that the state is steadily reviving its long-standing legacy of learning, trade, and craftsmanship.
For bringing on board the architects of modern Katsina, we are mightily proud of you. For Putin, Barrister Ibrahim Shehu Shema, of bringing Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, of bringing Colonel Abdul Mumini Aminu, of bringing the elites of Katsina together. We have no business fighting each other.
Governor Dukorada pointed out the state initiatives to support small and medium-scale enterprises and promote economic development.
It is a powerful way to empower young people, especially those who do not have access to some exposure or resources or otherwise.
The MSME Clinic Award Dinner and DICO Social Innovation Academy graduation ceremony is an event that recognizes and celebrates outstanding entrepreneurs and businesses in Katsina State. It provides a platform for entrepreneurs to network, share ideas, and showcase their innovations. In Katsina, Awan Halaru, NTA News.
In other news, the Senate has passed a bill to establish the Nigerian Mines Rangers Service, which is expected to positively impact the mining sector by enhancing security, promoting economic growth through revenue generation, and preventing unauthorized mining. Senate also proposed life imprisonment without option or fine for defilement of minors. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on this and other resolutions.
The Mining Rangers Service Bill will, among other things, secure the mining sector by curbing illegal mining, in which Nigeria records an annual loss estimated at over $18 billion.
This bill will, in very great measure, help us to tackle the scourge of insecurity in this country.
If these mine rangers are established, most of the mining site will be manned by these rangers, and we are hopeful that the mines now will be reactivated.
Also today, the lawmakers considered the Criminal Code Act Amendment Bill forwarded for concurrence from the House. Senate made amendments to some clauses, one of which approves life imprisonment with no option of fine on any person found guilty of defiling a minor.
So that it will serve as a deterrence for will-be offenders.
The motion has been moved and seconded that any defilement of a minor in Nigeria henceforth should carry life imprisonment. Those in support say aye. Aye. And those against say nay. They are not here. But is there any option of fine? No option of fine. So the motion is carried.
Meanwhile, Senate passed for second reading bill to enact the Nigeria Social Security Trust Fund, which seeks compensation for work-related accidents.
Is to harmonize existing laws on social insurance and employees' compensation.
That will also result to cost saving, a more coherent approach to the issue of employee compensation, whether as a result of injury at work, occupational hazard, or evil death.
Employers' compensation should also include even the public sector, for emphasis.
There is provision for punishment for defaulters.
The lawmakers passed a resolution commending President Tinubu for his choice of appointments and support to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which has led to milestone achievements.
Activities of EFCC during this period contributed to enhancing Nigeria's image both locally and internationally.
I also want to urge the chairman to continue on what he's doing in terms of fighting crime in this country.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces be commended for his support to EFCC in ensuring that the agency is able to realize its mandate.
Presidential appointees for the National Population Commission were also confirmed by the Senate. In the meantime, Senate has condoled the minority leader, Senator Abamuru, over the demise of his son in a road accident and a granddaughter who succumbed to illness. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The quest to uphold the January to December budgetary cycle is gaining traction, with the House of Representatives passing for second reading a bill to ensure timely presentation of the country's annual budget by the executive to the legislature. National Assembly correspondent Mitai Rikpen brings us details of these and other resolutions at Tuesday's plenary.
The Constitution Alteration Bill on timely presentation of the nation's annual budgets seeks to cure the problem of late presentation by the executive or delayed consideration by the legislature. The bill, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and 4 other lawmakers, proposes reforming the budgeting processes to ensure that fiscal operations are timely and lead to genuine development outcomes.
These inefficiencies not only undermine economic growth but also erode the public trust in government ability to manage their resources responsibly. This bill offers a structural remedy by embedding discipline, transparency, and long-term vision into the Constitution to guide budget process at all levels of governance.
In another resolution, lawmakers call for a probe of all federal government grants to states and local governments outside FAC allocations. On the recent face-off between Pengassan and Dangote Refinery over sacked workers and union activities, the House resolved to revisit the matter to protect national interest.
If private investment of strategic national importance are continually subjected to unlawful disruptions by adversarial unionism, Nigeria risks not only the failure of key economic assets, but also the erosion of investor confidence.
Nigerians are looking for private investment. Any private investor that is coming to Nigeria, he is going to look at our laws. Are we implementing our laws first? So we have to be seen to be implementing our own laws. So that's why we are calling on honorable colleagues that an act of parliament was breached in taking a resolution by the government.
This motion is referred to the Council of Leadership of the House to be headed by Mr. Speaker.
There were other disaster-related resolutions.
The need to address the devastating flood. The incidents happened in Newi Town, Amici, Orifite, Ozobo, and other communities, and calling for urgent intervention, rehabilitation, and preventive measures.
We urge the Federal Ministry of Works to consider and approve the immediate installation of speed breakers in Damaguma and Genzarma towns of Fune local government area in Yobe State as interim measure to forestall and or reduce the rate of accidents and loss of lives in these two towns.
Also up for probe by the Green Chamber is the utilization of $4.6 billion foreign grants meant to reduce the burden of HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria in the country. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And the House of Representatives is seeking a national policy to safeguard private investors in free trade zones from unlawful trade union interference. This resolution followed a debate on a motion moved by Representative Alhassan Dogwa, criticizing the recent disruption in Nigerian's crude oil production as a result of the face-off between the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengassan, and the Dangote Refinery. Lawmakers argued that the actions of the labor unions breached the rights of companies operating within the free trade zones, saying this could discourage potential investors.
Worried that if private investment of strategic national importance are continually subjected to unlawful disruptions by adversarial unionism, Nigeria risks not only the failure of key economic assets, but also the erosion of investor confidence necessary for national growth and economic development.
A lot of people have the interest of investing in our oil and gas, but they have some hesitations and reservations because of the way and manner Dangote Refinery is being treated.
We tread with a little bit of caution. Let the relevant committees of the House call all the parties and sit over this, look at it, and come back with recommendations to us to confirm and affirm that all aspects of that law has been breached and suggest solutions to this problem.
This motion is referred to the Council of Leadership of the House to be headed by Mr. Speaker.
To promote fiscal transparency across all levels of government, the House has resolved to probe the use of all financial grants disbursed by the federal government to states and local governments outside FAC allocations.
Urge the Minister of Finance and the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria to provide to the House within 2 weeks a detailed report of all federal government financial interventions outside the FAC allocations extended to the states and local governments from 2023 to date, including the nature of each intervention, amount disbursed, dates, recipient entities, and conditions, if any.
And the House Committees on Finance, Intergovernmental Affairs and Public Accounts were mandated to ascertain the efficient utilization of federal government grants by the subnational entities and report back to the House within 4 weeks. Now we take